Hello, skewers, and welcome to the bunker. I said it right this time. The bunker.
Skewers? Like barbecue
RSG.
skewers? Oh,
RSG.
streamers. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Reality
yeah.
skewed gamers. We call them skewers. And unfortunately for all you, you're skewers now too. Sorry, I hate to tell you that, but
Just to be clear, we're not on the burger, right?
we're not on the burger. We're on the bunker with RSG. I said it
I
right
love
this
it.
time. I'm T McVenom with the Reality Skew Gamers. We also have Finn with us from Reality Skew Gamers. Say hi, Finn.
Hi, Finn.
I'm from 125 and 359. Finn's from 359. We have Delete here, or affectionately known as Mr. Wonderful, or Delete, or Big D.
Yeah, Big D. Oh, yeah. I can always get a kick out of that one.
Yeah, Delete's from 125. We also have special guests with us today. We have Apex Predator, who was on last week. He's from 359. Apex, are you on any other servers?
No,
No,
just on
just
359.
359. And new to the stream, he's actually in the stream a lot in the chat, and he's in 359 with us. But we have Jeremy. Say hello, Jeremy.
Hello.
Hello. Jeremy actually was one of my, I think we met from me pulling one of your memes from the SoS Discord server, the big one. And I just started messaging him like, hey, I'm going to use your meme on my server, on my stream. And I think that's where we started kind of following each other a bit. But he's
it was the picture of the kid where you're like, when you have to go take your SOS homies resources or whatever when they quit.
Yeah, you're doing. Yeah, that was the funniest one I've ever done. I think it's hilarious because we do that all the time still. Even when somebody quits and they've been out for like a month and they're your closest friend, it feels so bad when you have to take their resources. So, except Durgan, I didn't feel bad kicking him and taking his. So
He didn't really have that much, though.
I mean, really, he didn't. So, Jeremy, what states are you in? I know you're in Buku's estates.
I'm in 130 and 359.
Oh, I thought you were in something. I thought you may have been with Fury somewhere. Were you not?
No, not yet. I'm friends with her and some other people in her state. We talk a lot, and yeah, I would like to be, but
We can.
yeah, I started in 130, and yeah, I started in a small alliance there, and then joined one of the bigger ones when I started spending, and I've led that alliance since then. So
nice, very nice. So I don't know. Has 125 played 130?
We've skipped all around.
Oh,
We've done like 132, 136. Then we did like, what was our last one? Our last one was like State 86 or something like that. We've been all over the map.
wow.
That'd be
yeah, we have to
an
face
interesting battle.
1.5 billion BP guys.
That would be an interesting showdown there, wouldn't it?
Oh my God.
That's a horrifying number
That
for
is.
one person.
It's absolutely horrifying.
Well, we had to face the Zend a few SVSs ago, and then we had to face Kid Can. They're like top 5 BP.
Yeah. How did that go? How did that end for you?
Well, we're 1-6 in SVS, so it's been awesome.
Wow.
Very
Damn.
nice.
Wow. I think we've lost twice. We got outsmarted once, and then we got outsmarted twice. Really, the first one was the dude was just strong as hell.
Yeah.
He was just strong as hell, and we couldn't take the center. And it was just like, wow, all right, well this is weird. And then the second one was they switched the battle mechanics to where you could have the top person stats with the stronger heroes skills, and like we didn't catch on to that until it was like, oh, this is over. Oh,
Almost
this is
all the way
done.
through. Yeah. Oh,
So
that's
that
what
was
happened. Yeah.
yeah. So that was interesting. But then we've kind of just taken it, and most of it's actually been the one alliance in our state that's just basically compiled most of the spenders in our state. Where
Yeah.
it's like you look at them like across the screen in like a res raid, and you're like, wow, everyone's plasma 5, like really? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Oh my
that's what it's
God.
like playing this one alliance in our state.
Yeah.
So
It really is. So I want to give a shout out to everybody that's in the stream, all the skewers watching. We got Froggy IP, hello, DSP, Fury, hey sweet tits, Letty, Infinity's in there, Sniper Demon. Letty is super sus, by the way. If any of you guys don't know, super sus.
sweet assassin.
Sweet assassin. We thank you guys for joining. We want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors. Finn, I will allow it this one time if you want to do your little zombie thing. He's totally not. He's totally in bed.
Finn right now is a little bit tired, but what you don't want to have when you're tired is coffee. But when you wake up and you want to have that cup of joe that really hits the spot, make sure you get yourself some zombie coffee. That's right, zombie coffee, located in Columbia, South Carolina, and Athens, Georgia. Make sure that when you want some zombie coffee, you go to those Facebook pages. Exclamation sponsor in chat will get you a link to their Facebook pages. And don't forget, they have donuts available too, because not only do you want that caffeine in the morning, you need that sugar rush in order to get your day off right. Once again, Zombie Donuts, proud sponsors of The Bunker.
Finn, I think you missed your calling. I think you should be like a radio announcer, like, or a commercial specialist. That was perfect.
No, we just need more sponsors for RSG. That's what
we do need more sponsors. I'm working on it, man. I'm working on it. Actually, I think I'm going to do the codes differently. I'm going to go ahead and do the first code right now, because the first code is Zombie Donuts. There you go.
Nice.
Zombie
Brought
Donuts
to you
is
by-
spelled, yeah.
And now giving you. See that? It's
Yeah.
just a win-win all the way around.
So these codes that we're giving are worth 500 biocaps and 1 hour speed ups, right, Finn? I think you checked them, right? Finn.
Sorry, it's taking me a little bit to get off mute. Yes, you get 500 biocaps and you get 12 5-minute speed ups, so equivalent of 1 hour speed ups. That is correct.
Oh, perfect. And it's Zombie Donuts, all one word. So you guys get your
Make sure you spell it correctly. Look on the screen. Make sure you spell it correctly.
yeah, it's spelled
Spelling is important.
Dounuts. So, there we go. I was getting my code because I always miss my code because I'm always busy talking while the codes go out. So, tonight we are talking about spending wisely. And the reason why we're going into this discussion and the reason why I asked all of these guys on is because I have made the decision I'm going to start spending. Not a lot. I'm not going to be a crazy wild spender, but I do want to start spending in 359 because I feel like that's a fun place with not a lot of crazy. There's no millionaires in there. It's a very competitive state. So I feel like this is the one that I want to spend in. So, I haven't hit the trigger button on a lot of these purchases because I know enough about the game to be worried about what I'm spending because I've seen so many people have bad builds and waste a lot of money on not great accounts. And so I want to make sure that I'm making the right purchases if I decide to spend. And there is a big difference. Jeremy actually made a comment earlier about this being a really good topic right now because I guess the perspective has shifted a lot on spending about what it used to be was gear, and now it's kind of a little different depending on what your level is and how much you're going to be spending and who you have in your alliance. Like in 125, I had Delete and Colo and all these people with really good gear, so I didn't need good gear. You really just need troops. And the same thing in 359. Apex is our big gear guy, and we have Nero, and we have a couple other guys that have really good gear that they're working on building their 5 stars. So, do I need that kind of stuff, or do I just need plasma troops? So that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. Jeremy, did you want to open up with any thoughts, or are we just kind
of? Yeah, no, that was just kind of. It was funny that you asked me to be on because we actually just had this discussion in my R4 chat. Someone basically had brought up pushing members to start spending on plasma, and that's basically the opposite of anything that we've ever taught our members to do. We've always just said, if you're going to spend money on this game, you need to buy gear, you need to buy heroes, you need to buy badges, and spend money on speeding up your research. But things are just different now. There's a lot of we probably have close to 10 max players in our state, and we have almost 3 or 4 of them in our alliance. And we're just noticing there's a shift now where if a person is a small to a medium spender, they probably, especially with red gear coming out, they should just probably switch it up and just push to get to a 5-star, because they're going to have a lot more fun in all the events if they're able to get in rallies with 5-star troops, as opposed to, oh, I have all purple gear now, but what am I going to do with it? Like,
Yep. That's my problem in 125. I have purple gear. I have good gear in 125. I have decent gear for a mid-level player, but I can't do anything in any rally because I don't have plasma. I have 1-star plasma troops. What are you going to do with that when you're up against 5-star T11 troops? You can't do anything with that. So that's the problem I have in 125. So I think that's a good focus for people that know that they're never going to be a top player. Push towards 5-star, and then if you want to work on things later, perfect. But I think that's the big thing. Letty said something about, oh my God, I spent so much on Maddie frags in the beginning. So if any of you guys have spent, I want you to put your worst purchase that you've ever made in the chat. Like, what was the thing that you regret the most as far as your account? Like, purchase wise, or maybe investment wise, even if it wasn't like buying it out, but like bio investment, even if it was something like that. That would be interesting to read off. But Apex, what do you think is the anything to add on to what Jeremy was saying, like the way to start just from a beginner coming in, because you're pretty new to this game?
Yeah, because when I first came in, I was getting a lot of my advice from like Finn and Nero, so I was getting both like a pay and a free-to-play idea of it. And originally it was gear, and I got the gear, obviously. I'm almost full dom right now. And I don't know, I'm just looking at the red gear, and depending on what the cost is, I'm not sure if it's super worth it for me to pump more funds into that or working towards T11s more.
Ooh.
If that makes sense.
No, I agree. Like, because I think Delete, you were talking about that last stream, weren't you?
Yeah.
About whether you're gonna do it.
So being a max player, right? It's just like all gold gear, all badges, all hero gear maxed out right now, puts you in like the top 0.4% of the players in the game, right? So like just you having that makes you strong enough to basically beat 99.5% of the people in the game. So going to red gear, is when people aren't really going to do that, go to that level, just doesn't make any sense. And the game also tiers it. Like we were actually talking about this before the stream started, where, Jeremy's only a couple states away from me, but we've never faced each other. But he's having to go because he's got 10 people that are max stats in his state. He's facing states that are much older. Like, his record, in SBS isn't where he would want it to be because of the amount of players that he has that are max in his state. They now max, the game matches him or that state with another really strong state, but that state is is so much older. Like the two are so far apart time wise, but so close together as far as level of max players. It's like, oh, all right, so you want to play with the big boys? Here it is. Let's go ahead and play with the big boys.
Meet these other
and
big boys.
So that's tough, So if you're gonna do it, you gotta have a level of doing it, because the game will match you appropriately. I mean, it may at times it's really wonky. There are times that we played Res Raid and it's just like, oh, they are totally pissed that they woke up thinking that they were gonna play this game and just kind of like walk through us and then just got crushed, or like playing Res Raid and being like, wow, they don't have one piece on the map.
Yeah.
And then there are times where it's like, wow, this is impossible, for both sides, even for the strong state. So you definitely, it's always a slippery slope is basically where I'm coming to is, if you're going to push, make sure that you kind of have a group push, because if you do it by yourself, you're just going to be lining yourself up to be crushed for a while. Because I remember when I maxed out and we were doing res raids and I joined Law. I remember when I first joined Law, it was like Law was on a pretty solid streak of winning res raid, and then I joined up, and then it was just like, dude, we are getting hammered.
Yeah, you brought your
like,
big bat to swing around, and somebody else had a big bat coming up at that point.
Yeah, so it's the game will match you up, appropriately. It won't let you just completely steamroll the other side. So you have to be careful.
Are you getting red gear? Are you still kind of deciding?
I'm still kind of deciding. I'm kind of up in the air. I don't know if I need it. And it just the state of affairs of my state is kind of like people log in for dailies, and like people kind of get amped up for SBS, but not really.
Mm-hmm.
Our average people around is probably logged in at one time is 25 people, 28 people. During SBS.
Yeah.
That's not a lot. We have people that sign up for Res Raid and don't show up. I mean, I get it, real life happens, but then, a reserve should pop in, and that doesn't necessarily happen. So, you can see the state of decay in state 125. The activity level. I think even in like our Lions Throwdown right now, this is the first time that I think we're legit going to drop out of expert and go to like, go from like champion to expert. We're going to drop down the rank in throwdown, and it's just like, damn.
Just based off activity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in that case, do you really need to? I guess that's the point. The big thing is, do you need to do that? You have to gauge what the activity in your state is and what your top level is. And if you're able to go to red, should you go to red right now? Or should you save that as a one-up for later? I don't know.
I mean, as it is right now, because of the PTR, I am able to level one piece of my gear to the next two levels. So I was able to get like one more step, and that's if they keep everything exactly the same. They don't make it cheaper or more expensive for that matter. I can make one piece. Since I've known, because I was playing in the test server, the PTR, like I've been kind of like, all right, I mean, I gotta kind of do something for Alliance Throwdown. Let me go ahead and buy something towards that. I've been doing it towards cheap gear materials, the things that I've been like basically lacking on, because I have enough tactical gear maps to basically complete it. But it's like the alloy and the like toolkit and the glue, and it's like, that's the stuff that's like whatever. I mean, that's the stuff I'll know I can get there over time, because it's all stuff that I can buy with caps. It's not stuff that I necessarily have to buy with bundles, because that's always the thing. It's what to buy, and hence the stream.
Yeah.
How do you play it? Like, is it crates of choice? Is it, each event, each bundle has its advantages. I mean, I think the biggest thing, and we've always preached it from like day one, was buying regular bundles is so expensive. Like that is, if you don't do like the crates of choice or certain things of that nature, it even shows you the percentages when you go to buy a pack.
Yeah.
Like bundles are at like 600% to like 1,000%, in value, right? Like the crates of choice, offer you basically they cut out a lot of the fluff, the extra resources, or the random like VIP points or something along those lines that kind of escalate the value, but really don't give you what you need, until you're buying like the $100 or $50 packs. Um, so you have to kind of look exactly, and also, the biggest thing too is measure out what you need. Like if it tells you, because it'll tell you what you need, or you can find out. There are enough resources online to tell you, like, you need this many pieces of this to go ahead and get from 0 to max. So make sure you always have that number in mind when you're buying stuff, because from playing the game, you get a certain amount of it, and it'll make it very easy for you to go ahead and just be like, oh, wow, I just overspent by $150 or even more, because you didn't measure what you actually needed to kind of complete the recipe. So, you got to be careful with that, because that's, me and Daedric are always looking at our backpacks and just being like, damn,
Miserable.
yeah, because I was like, I have enough tactical gear maps to go ahead and do all the pieces of gear. So as you can imagine, the amount of money, extra money that I had to spend in the beginning to like get there, was just like astronomical, because we started playing the game when it was just bundles. It wasn't these like extra incentive packs.
Yeah.
So,
Or the crates and
that
stuff.
was just like, oh, yeah, I get this for free. So all these other games that I've ever played, the free stuff, don't buy. Like only buy the stuff that you can't get in game. And then it was just like, oh, I bought too much,
Yeah.
And it was like, I remember my last piece of hero gear. It was like, I bought a bundle. I bought a $5 pack to kind of get like the teensy weensy little bit extra to kind of complete it, but it was just like, that was like the last time that I kind of bought a regular bundle,
Yeah. Jeremy, are you getting red gear? On 130?
Well, I don't have max chief gear anyways yet. Yeah, I'm not max.
Would you, if you had the option, let's say you were max right now, would you go straight to red if you had that option?
Yeah, I mean, if there was no factors outside of I can buy it or not, sure.
You think it's worth it? That's what I'm saying. Is do you think it's worth it right now?
I haven't really looked at the price, like exactly. I don't know how much it is. It's probably what, like $2,500 if you want to go from zero from.
Probably more than that, right, Delete?
I'm guessing it's about. That's what I don't know for sure how much it is, but
it's probably more than that.
Yeah.
It depends. It depends on like how you buy it, because if you buy it with bundles, like the regular, like chief gear pack, here's 600% chief. If you like, if you wait for, that one time a month that it comes out where it's like, oh, here it is, like, wow, this is exactly what I need for, 30% of the cost, which usually happens. The game kind of cascades down. It's like, it burns the person to like, that wants to get there first. And then it helps out the people that want to catch up to the person that got there. You know what I mean?
Later. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you wait, there's better value there.
Well,
but then if you wait and you've got someone that just always races out, you're kind of like, oh, that's kind of 3 weeks of losing, if you have a competitive state, if that matters.
Well, the thing with like Apex is like, oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, Apex should just if Apex is in a different situation than like he should max out his hero gear before he maxes out his chief gear anyway. If somebody is spending as much as he is, which isn't like, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, for some people in this game, it's not a lot or whatever, but it's a lot. Like he's a spender, so he should spend on maxing out his hero gear first, because the health and lethality buffs from hero gear is more important than the chief gear. So even before getting red gear, he should max out his hero gear first.
Yeah. Somebody said red badge is coming, maybe.
Probably.
What?
I have
Yeah,
no
something like
idea,
that.
but I mean,
I feel
So
like
you-
before
actually,
they do
once
red
you
badges-
unlock the
Oh.
red gear, you've got to put new badges on the red gear.
Is that what's in the PTR?
Yeah.
Oh. You think they're
And
going
it's
to
just
do
like-
that? You think they're going to release that too? Or are they going to change the...
I don't. There's got to be. I mean, they have to have some stats behind it. You know, where they're. I mean, because especially all mobile games have like a blueprint, right?
Mhm.
Of like, how much can you get from your top spenders, right? And in the beginning, you know, it was like, you know, the original states for probably 100 down had to spend a ton to reach max level, and then, you know, states 100 through 200, you know, different bundles came out that made it more cost effective, you know, but they felt like they had enough, they probably had, you know, felt that they probably had enough people that were just like reaching max again. And so they feel, you know, as just like a business model, they feel like they're not getting the most they can out of the big spenders. You know, they're
Mhm.
leaving money on the table.
Yeah.
So that's probably why this is coming out. You know what I mean? Like, if you know that you can get, you know, 50 grand out of someone, you know, and the game only really lets you spend 30, it's like, what? You know, like,
Yeah.
you know, but meanwhile, it's like, you know, they also have to look at what the average spend across both sides is, because then it's like, if you only have people that are just kind of like exploding it and don't give anyone else a chance, then there's also no value there either, because then it's like you lose a large percentage of your population, because there's only so many things that you can do by yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's
a
gonna
max
be,
account with like regular without plasma behind it doesn't really get that far, you know. And that also changes in the battle mechanics too, because there's there's another alliance in our state that has a lot of 5-star plasma, and we don't have as much 5-star plasma, but, you know, I'm able to win rallies, you know, in comparative, you know, like against them. So it's not like it's just the most spenders win. You know, I mean, those battle mechanics seem to shift pretty frequently. So, you know, it's like, you know, just to harp back on the fact that like the way that we talk, you know, the stream that we have today, you know, months from now may not be of value.
Yeah.
Because if you look back, you know, to like our stream 10 and the information we were giving out there and compare it to now, you're like, man, these guys don't even know how to play the damn game. And they got a show.
Completely different. It's completely different because things have changed so much.
Yeah. So
Apex. So
Yeah.
you're still undecided about your red gear, I'm sure. Like, we just kind of all went all over the place with that.
Well, one thing just for my account personally I'm looking at is I'm trying to focus more on badges. Is that something that I've fallen behind with, I've noticed, compared to other people in the state, where I'm not even at full gold level 1 badges right now, but I have the full gold gear, and all of my hero gear is either the first level of gold or 1 level below gold. So I'm trying to kind of cycle through on what I'm upgrading,
Mhm.
so I'm not going like maxing out the hero gear and then my badges are just absolute crap, because then somebody with okay badges but also has okay everything else can beat me across the board.
Yeah. So your focus, I think it needs to be clear too what your goal is, like what your main goal in your state is. So, like, mine is just to be a joiner and someone that can help in a rally, someone that can help take a bunker, someone that can, you know, help in a tower, with my alliance, with my strongest guys in it. So I'm not dependent on them completely to play the game, but I want to be able to help them. So that's my goal. Apex, I don't know if you're like trying to be in the top 5, if you want to be in the top 10, or I think you just want to just fight and you want to be able to fight well.
That's literally it. I would like to. I don't care if I'm in like the top 10 or even like the top 20, but if I can give them a run for their money, I'll feel good about myself at the end of the day.
Yeah. So it may not be a bad idea to hold off on the red and just focus on your other things and getting them up high and then see if you need to do the red gear. I mean, I don't even know how many people would be going for that in our state. I feel like maybe 10. Maybe 10 people in our state right away. I don't even know.
Yeah, and just based on what I've seen now, they're a little ways off of being able to like max a day one.
I agree. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Are there any VIP 12s in 359 yet?
2.
Yeah.
I'm just reached 11, and I saw how many caps I would have to burn to get immediately to 12, and
Scary number.
Just like, I was like, okay. I thought like 300K was a lot when I had that saved up. This is nothing.
Mm-mm. You're looking at like what, well over $1 million?
4.8 million to go from VIP 11 at the bottom straight to VIP 12.
Yeah.
It's
insane.
Intense.
It's insane.
I mean, 11 to 12, it's double. It's
double.
At
that cost, you better have your daggone VIP concierge person. To me, I mean, that's like, you know,
the VIP 12 talent set switch instant is so sweet. I didn't know. I don't know how I played the game before.
Listen,
you know,
don't rub it in us peons' faces here.
Clicking on everything over and over again.
Do you know how much I hoard? Like I every time I see a talent switch in the Alliance store anywhere, I'm buying up talent switches all the time because it's so annoying.
They should allow you to actually do the talent reset and then allow you to save your preset talents.
Yeah.
So this way you use it and then it's already pre-saved in there as opposed to having to do it. And I
honestly would buy it for more. I would pay double to not have to go through and mess with all that. I'm just that lazy.
Yeah.
I am that lazy.
Especially in like, you know, during a capital clash or, you know, during SVS when you just want to, you know, you just want to go ahead and just like heal for a little bit and then it's so like, you know what, I'll just leave it and I'll just burn extra speed ups. I'll just burn them. I'll just burn them 3 times more.
SVS I was going in fighting for a while. My hospital was nearly full. I would rush into my freaking talent screen and then have to cycle through, reset everything so I could quickly batch heal and then get back into the fight.
Oh yeah,
it was infuriating.
Awful. It's so it's
a stinger.
And it's a frustrating procedure too because sometimes it doesn't take and your max doesn't hit your max that you keep like it's frustrating. It really is. I feel like I wish they would tweak that a bit, make it a little bit more intuitive. It's not difficult. It's just when you're in a hurry.
You should be able to edit it.
Yes.
Like if you make a mistake while resetting it, and it's just like I have to do the whole damn thing over now. You know, that is
so frustrating. This is the only game that you didn't have like a save. You know, like you could reset it and save it and say this is what I want to go with, and that costs you your stuff. You know, it's so weird. Anyway, So as far as
you want to start spending in 359 now?
Yeah, I do.
So just if I tell people, but even like people, so that's like a lot of people. That's basically what they start at least, but then it ends up. We all become addicted to crates.
No, Jeremy, you don't know me. I am a stingy bitch. I'm telling you right now. I do not like to spend any money on anything but my hair, my nails, my vacation, and my shoes. And that is about it. Like, I don't want to spend money on anything else that is not tangible.
Well, I think Delete was the same way, and look at him now. He doesn't
Delete is not the same way. What are you talking about? Delete was talking about getting a gaming chair, and he was just like...
impulse control
he has none.
Whatsoever.
0.
And
he used to get his hair done all the time, and now he doesn't do anything. But
no. Now I wear a hat. I got a perma hat. Actually, I'm about to get this thing sewn on. Just be able to peel the front logo off.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be like one of those. I think if anything, I'll probably not spend enough to really stay relevant, just because I get lazy with it. My problem is
Well,
not
there's
going
some
to.
stuff you can do, like the $5 daily drop.
Mm-hmm.
The $5 daily drop is, so a lot of times people will spend biocaps, like they'll spend 10,000 biocaps for the Alliance Throwdown to activate their VIP. But for $5, the $5 daily drop gives you, over the 30 days, it activates your VIP for 30 days. And
You're
then
talking
it
about
gives you,
the daily drop. I'm showing it up on there. Okay,
yeah,
go
it's
ahead.
the one,
The 3,000 biocaps over 30 days?
yeah, so it gives you it activates your VIP for those 30 days. It gives you the 3,000 biocaps, and then it gives you the 300 VIP and the 300 stamina, and then whatever the bread is, I don't know. But I tell people to always get that, and then instead
But
of
why to
spending
get that? Why, though? Because to me, that doesn't seem like a very good deal.
it is.
Yeah.
Activate your
25.
VIP for that long.
I took my VIP all the way to almost a year. Like, I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Yeah.
What, you have it activated for a year?
Let's see.
No.
73
You can't.
days. I have it for 73 days.
Oh.
Okay, but even if you buy this, it adds it on to that.
Yeah,
So
as you time.
it's totally worth it though, because then you take the 10,000 biocaps that you were spending to activate your VIP, and you just put it into your VIP. And the stamina and the VIP plus the biocaps for $5 and the VIP activation, it all just pays for itself basically.
Yeah.
Then any state that has the wild racing in it for $10, it's the same thing. You get a whole bunch of stuff over time. You just don't get it in a crate that gives it to you instantly. You get 10.
I think the wild racing looks like a bad deal. See, I'm
No.
all
Yeah,
over the place.
Yeah, the wild racing I thought wasn't as good, just
Yeah,
because
you only get like
you can spend $10 and get double the amount of shards of whatever character, plus a decent number more bios.
yeah, and the speed. I mean, it's not like, it doesn't look that great compared to where you could take that money somewhere else.
Okay,
me.
so if you go to, hold on, I'm going to tell you why it's worth it. Don't close that window out because it doesn't show you everything that you get.
Oh, okay.
You also get however many chief tags, because here's the thing that some people miss. Chief level and VIP level are two of like the most important things in the game. Chief level especially, because if you can race up to 59, then you're getting the max amount of research reduction. Basically, the whole goal of this type of stuff, like the wild racing, like the daily drop, is to eventually pay for itself with the time that it is saving you for things like your research reduction. When you get a certain VIP level, your construction, it reduces all the time that you have for construction, for research. So this also gives you
Oh, you're right. It doesn't show the Chief EXP either.
no. So you get the Chief EXP, you get the hero gear parts, you get the biocaps, you get the here whatever the shards are for the hero that are in there, and you get the speed ups. So you have those. You have the $5 daily deal, and then basically I tell people they don't just get this stuff and then use it on the same. Like, don't get it and then locate whoever the hero is for that wild racing. So I also tell people that they just need to make sure that they're using all of the materials in their bag to make more materials. So using it in survival of the fittest, using it in SVS, whatever the event may be. Like Apex does it perfectly. He saves all of his stuff and hoards it and then uses it all to get more things. Mm-hmm. So if you look at this as $10, well, I'm only getting this. This is all that I'm getting. It's basically going to net out to the same price as because that's a whole lot of speed ups. It's like 28 or 30 some 3-hour speed ups, I think. That's a massive amount of speed ups.
Yeah, it's about 43-hour speed ups, I think. But I
That's
guess
a whole lot. That will practically get you to the points required in an event like SVS or Survival of the Fittest on one of the stages for speed ups.
Yeah. But like, okay, so I was debating, and I think Apex and Nero and maybe it was Delete. I don't always remember. I was talking to. I did end up purchasing the Tree of Life, the extra crates, and the reason why I did that.
Yeah, you should every time.
Yeah, the reason why I did that was because there was so much plasma in there. There's so much plasma. If you get all of you, I still need to obviously get a couple more levels, but there's a lot of plasma. I can't remember how much we counted it up. But
I think it's an extra like 140 plasma just from like $15.
Yeah, it was $15, 140. Plus, you get the crates that give gear stuff. I think they give gear materials, which is nice. And then
you also get more chief tags. Like you get a whole bunch of chief tags, and you get I'm pretty sure you get one of each of the gold stat boost.
Yeah, the troop
like
defense
the 12
boost. Yeah, you get the troop defense,
things,
you get the troop attack.
Those are like 9,000 biocaps each if you're VIP 11 or 12. So
you actually get a bunch of all of them. You get the troop attack reducer, you get the defense, all of that stuff. You get, I think there's like 4 of them you get.
See that? The wild racing. Yeah, I mean the Chief XP, so that's 18,000 Chief XP, right? In the biocap store, it is, I just had it open and then I closed it like an idiot.
It's $5 for 10,000 Chief EXP for one of those bundles. So
yeah, so the $10 just for the Chief XP, you for wild racing, it's a good value.
But then you add on the 43-hour speed
and
ups.
You also get the the hero, to unlock
fries.
A hero for wild racing. Yeah, so that's actually solid. I maxed out on Chief, and Chief, like the Chief XP is pretty huge. Like the reason that I think, especially in our state, we have a millionaire in our state. So he was at his chief gear his chief level was at 60, and ours was at like 47. So even though we matched him at gear, we had basically stopped paying attention to that, and it was just like the extra that you unlock past like level 50 for your chief XP really makes a substantial difference in your overall stats.
Well, that's good. That's actually good to know.
Big.
Well, this is kind of why I wanted to have this discussion, because things like this, like it's funny that they didn't put that on the rewards page. So like if you go to Wild Racing and you click unlock rewards, it only shows you, it doesn't show you the EXP.
But then you scroll through it and you're like,
oh, wait a minute, there's more stuff to it. Why don't they put that on there? Because that's a big selling point. That seems silly not to put the product that's probably the most valuable to a lot of people. Interesting. Thank you for that, Jeremy.
That's a solid $15 spend right there. I used to do the supplies too. Like the $5 for like the 91 hours of speed ups. It's like you got to collect them over a certain amount of days or whatever. But everyone that I know is already logging in every day anyway. So it's not really that big a deal. 91 hours of speed ups for $5 was just like, or whatever it is 5 or is it 10?
So
was pretty solid, and I used it all. That's how I progressed my research so much faster than a lot of other people, because I banged out my research pretty well, and then, and that was even in the beginning. I wasn't using the talent to go ahead and speed up or decrease, the amount of time it takes you to do your research, and I wasn't doing the development buff, for my settlement when I was going ahead and grinding out like all of these speed ups, so I had made it, I had made my research, I probably use 40% more than I needed to max out my research because I didn't do it the right way, and then when you start doing that in an event, it pays even more dividends. You should never rank up or like start just popping packs until there's an event going. So this way you can take full advantage. You make your money work for you,
Yeah.
in
That's why I
events like
Oh
haven't
this.
yeah.
spent yet. I'm waiting, like waiting for something to say, okay, this is when I need to start popping some.
Yeah.
What's the other in the bundles? Like, so if I'm going, let's say I'm going in, what is your favorite out of all of these that you could spend on? You said, Jeremy, you like the daily drops.
Yeah, I mean, if I recommend it to people now, I would just say to always get Plasma Lab. I mean, even the new one, it's fine. I mean, it's not as good as the old one, but that and the Lucky Lottery thing for Plasma.
Now, when you say Plasma Lab, you're talking about the get more quick access bundles here, right?
Yeah.
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 So, and you guys are
Is that
saying get as much
any
of those as
level
you
of
can.
that pack?
Mm-hmm.
It's without even like the one that kind of will either give you 100 or 20 or 10 plasma. It just made plasma so much more inexpensive. But
Mm-hmm.
Plasma Lab doesn't come out too often. But when you get it and you hit it right, it works out really well.
Yeah.
To the point where anything it actually maxes out. So you'll have to carry Plasma Lab pieces, to the next one, because it'll be like, damn, I'm so close.
Yeah.
That was another thing. I actually
That's
bought I think I went up to like the $50 pack to finish my plasma
I got a lot
on
of
a regular
those
bundle.
the last time they had the Plasma Labs. Even though I wasn't anywhere near 30, I bought a lot of that just to start stockpiling it. The other thing
Yeah.
that Eric B said that I did get was, and I don't have it right now because of course I've already used it, was the growth bundle. I really enjoyed the growth bundle. Like if you're really going to go all the way to 30, it was really good. I can't remember exactly how much, but you got like something like 200k bios at once you hit 30, but you were getting bios all along once you hit a level.
Yeah.
And I thought that was well worth I think what was it? 20 bucks? I think he said 20 bucks. I feel like it was more than that. It couldn't have been just 20 bucks, right?
I think it was
No,
20.
I think it's 20.
I mean, that actually is really good price because I think total it was like what 500, 600k bios, and then you had all these. Yeah, that was definitely worth it.
Yeah, what you'll see usually, like, and people don't see it at first, like with the wild racing or the growth bundle, like he said, stuff like that. You get more if it's something that takes more time. Like you don't get the instant. If you max out a certain crate, if you buy all stages of a certain crate, you'll get more if you have something like the wild racing or the other ones. If you just wait over time, like, and even within certain crates, like I tell people, the $5 crate, you get 2,500 VIP in it. But for the same crate at the next level for $10, you only get 4,000 VIP. And then if you go up to the $20, it goes down even more. I think it's like 6,500 VIP. So that's why the percentages go down, even though if you look at a $5 crate, you get 2,500 biocaps in it. And then the next stage, you get 5,000 biocaps. So it doubles and doubles in price. But the reason the percentages go down is because it reduces, the only percent thing that goes down on it is the VIP. So you're losing out when you buy a $10 crate, you're losing out on 1,000 VIP. If you just bought the same crate Monday and then you bought it on Tuesday, if it resets, you would get more, you'd have 5,000 VIP instead of, for the same amount of materials. So you're basically, like it's been said on the stream a bunch of times, you're paying for time basically. If you want to buy a bundle, you get it instantly, but you're getting less of one of the most important things, which is VIP.
Yeah. Interesting. Maz said she did the growth one too. I did that one as well, Maz. So I like that one. I didn't even see that bio until last week. Nice to get over 300k bios on one shot. Yeah. I only buy the Choice of Crate and Plasma Labs. That's from Christian Cruz. Thanks for joining, man. And Eric B is in there. He's the one that said the growth bundle. And the Tyrant said, thanks, might have made me change my mind on wild racing. That's good. That's really good. What about, I had another question about the top-up stuff.
Yeah.
Somebody explain.
Top-up.
I've never even
So
messed
the
with the top up, so I don't know
uh,
what's going on with this.
so like if you want to be a top player, like overall, you need top up and you need to get that permanent skin because
Yeah.
the skins add up over time. Actually, you don't really need top up, but like you get so many of like the watering cans this time, or whatever that like value is. You start out at 4,000. And my say in 125, I feel like to get into the top 10 minimum has been about 8,000 to 12,000 just about every single time. So you're already halfway there off of like a $50 purchase. Plus you get the frame, which is
Yeah.
an extra like 2% defense, which you absolutely need. And the extra overall attack that you get for having the settlement skin is also huge. Like if you look at Arter, which is like, or he was the top player in the game VP wise, but he has every single skin that's ever come out in the game. So like his overall attack is just ginormous. To the point where you can't match that. Even if you've got max gear, he's still going to have an overall attack level that's higher than yours. So that's what that top up event's all about, is to basically get you those. The settlement decorations are just whatever, but the frame and the infected whatever, your March skin doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Because that's just for sending marches out.
Well,
From doing your dailies, but
this is what I
it's
see as the skin. So that's why I guess I'm confused because all I see is a March skin, a
mhm.
Green Awakening
He's talking
skin.
about
Talking
the
about the
event
top-up
for the
event in the
HQ.
store, right?
Yeah. So the top up, it's you get, so the reason why you want to do it is to get the permanent skin
The
in.
frames.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm looking at is the festival top up event. So that's a different thing. That's for the skins, right? And I do have this snowman March skin, lady. I got that in that star, the Christmas tree star thing. Do you remember that? That's where I got that one. But so I guess I'm confused why they have the festival top up event just for the March, because who really cares about the March skins that much though? Like they only give you your
'Cause that
infected
pack-
percentage, right?
Because that pack, if you max out on that pack, it gives you 4,000 watering cans.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So
Oh, but she's
also-
talking about. She's not talking. Delete's talking about the packs for the event. She's talking about the top up where if you buy all of the crates, if you buy enough bio caps worth of stuff, then it'll give you the March skin. But he's talking about the HQ skin
Frame.
event for the
Oh.
war. No, not
He's
the frame.
talking about-
the HQ. Basically, everybody that's a spender is going to try to get top 10 to get the HQ permanent skin. But what you're talking about for the top up means you basically just have to buy 30K worth of bio caps in the store, whether you do it by crates or just by bio caps, and then you'll get the March skin.
Well, see, I guess
Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I'm looking where is he talking about the top up for the frames then? Like I'm all over the place.
That's just the first pack. Have you bought anything?
No.
Okay, so look at that first pack. Yeah, you did.
Did I buy it? Oh yeah, I did. $5.99. I bought a $4.99 pack. So
you
that's
got
what
the
that
frame
one
with
is. So okay, so I was doing right in that way and getting the frame. That's the first the pack, and then I guess the top up. And that's where I got this first crate in the top up festival, right? And so then any more that I buy, it will contribute to these other crates. Is that how it works?
Yeah, you basically have to spend like $50 or $60, and you'll get all of those crates in the store plus whatever packs you bought, and you'll get the March skin at the end of it for whatever $50 or $60.
So that's kind of like an automatic thing that you automatically get these top up rewards. It's for buying the stuff that you're buying anyway, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I wish they would
But
have
I feel like
Go ahead.
I thought there was, if you go back, that other pack, I thought that was in like Festival Top Up is the only one that gives you like the large amount of watering cans in it though, right?
That's the Hope Springs Eternal bundle that gives you the 160 watering cans. Is that the one, or it gives you something?
You
right
get
off
the
the bat?
watering cans in the event bundle.
Yeah. Oh, the Hope Springs Eternal bundle. That's what it. No, see, even I'm confused.
Yeah, I get seriously, honestly, if I was like coming in trying to spend, I would have like I've been playing this game for a while now and I still don't understand like which one is the best one to buy because like there's so many different packs to choose that look like they have a lot of the same crap in them. So you're just like, which one's the better deal? And I think listening to people like Apex and you and Jeremy say, oh, but you don't get the Chief gear in this one and you get it in this one. I think that more people need to know about this stuff because otherwise you're just
Yeah.
looking like, who was it that said it last time? You just look at those percentages. You know, it has the banner that says, oh, you get 2,000 more percent things in this. But really it might be stuff that you don't need that's
It
causing
could
that
be
percentage
just
to
full
go
of
up.
like fluff resources
Yeah.
or something like that kind of really kind of boost it. So I do the top up because I buy the Hope Springs Eternal pack, which comes along with it. And that, buying the full series of that gets me, the whatever watering cans that kind of gives me like a leg up on everyone that doesn't do that. And then I'm, halfway there to kind of being in the top 10 to getting the permanent March skin
Gotcha.
or the permanent settlement skin.
The frame.
For,
Gotcha.
what's in if you open up the Chief badge value card,
Oh, I got that too.
that's another thing to talk about too, because that just came out in our state like a week or two ago.
And that was super cheap too.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah.
In
So that's the other
125,
thing now. Like
it's
I'm
been
telling
around for-
everyone that they should buy those for the most
Yeah.
part, unless like yours has
Mine has badges and the little berets. A lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but like sometimes, like for mine, I've gotten it twice now, and I haven't bought it because mine is the Chief gear card, but it had as one of the top things, it had 54 hero gear plans, which I just don't even need. I have like 700 of them. So,
But somebody that's starting out would need those really bad.
yeah. So, I mean, and it's different for everyone too, because yours was probably what, $1.99.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
$1.99.
mine was $9.99. So, like, some
Oh.
people get
Ugh.
people get $4.99.
Hell, I got mine
Some
$20.
Yeah, some
Yeah,
people get
mine was
20.
20.
It
It's
depends
just-
on
it's
your
kinda
level,
random.
right? And it depends on your level
Probably.
on what you need.
Well, it's probably based on your spending, is what I assume that it is.
So it gave me $1.99 because it's like, you cheap bitch. Here, take this $1.99.
Yeah.
This is the only thing I can lure you with.
Well, because my farm has $1.99, and it's like it's just all hero gear parts, like a massive amount of hero gear parts. And I'm like, why can't I have this on my main where I need it? Like that's what it's based on. But that now is that probably for the most part will take place of like the creative choice that you have. Because the creative choice gradually loses value, because if you look at the creative choice for it just comes with too much. Like for you it'll be perfect, but for me, like the value card is worth way more because it comes with the stuff that I need. The creative choice has too many of the plans. Like, so for you, either of those are good, but the value card is probably one of the better things that you're ever going to get, because it comes with bio caps and gives you those items, where the crates of choice, they usually come with the items for the gear, but they don't have bio caps in them.
Gotcha.
Yeah. You don't get the like the extra caps. Creature Choice just gives you the pure thing, because you get to choose exactly what you need. And it was like when it first came out, Creature Choice was like one of my favorite things to buy, because I can literally just cut out all the fluff, the resources, and at the time it was like I had 1.2 million caps sitting in my account, so it wasn't like I needed caps. I literally just needed the pieces that I couldn't buy, to finish off everything. So Creature Choice was kind of like the best way. But, there is like a kind of a break on like what you're saying. Sometimes there are like things that you don't need in them, so you have to make sure that you kind of, you're kind of mapping out what you need, and how you set up your account to begin with. What, and a lot of that will come with how good your alliance is, because some of the stuff you get just for being, from playing the game at a high level. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're attacking the facility that gets the hero gear parts, then you're getting that stuff gradually. So you don't
Yeah.
need to kind of go ahead and invest in it on top of that. And the same thing with like SBS, going through SBS and placing in the top 10 and getting, a certain amount of like materials for your badges.
Yeah. What
You
about
have to take a look.
the crates of choice? So they seem really good to me as far as like the gear. But is that something that you guys usually always get as the crates of choice?
That's what I go for, but I'm not max, so.
Yeah, crates of choice is where I finished off a lot of my things because it was easier for me to target and just buy exactly what I wanted to. Plus, it doesn't make you tier up. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to go through and buy the 5, the 10, the 20,
Yeah,
the 50,
yeah.
and the 100. You can just be like, you know what? I'm just gonna get the 100 and bang it out right now.
But so like but for a middle ground spender that is not looking for just straight gear, my thing is going to be what I need: speed ups and I need plasma and speed ups. Or I don't even really need speed ups, I guess, if you can
There's
get
crates
those
of
in the
choice
game.
for that.
Yeah,
I
but
remember
it
we
doesn't
had a
look that
discussion with
great.
The speed ups, you should do the $5 into the supplies, and it's like it's $5 for whatever to get like 91 hours of speed ups. Or
But
the survival of the fittest pack is actually pretty solid
but
for speed ups.
look at the $20 pack for the speed ups here. You get 68 1-hour speed ups, and then if you look at like the gas thing, what is it? Gas thing that Jeremy was talking about. What's it called?
The wild racing.
Wild Racing.
Oh yeah.
That one for, 10 or $15 and you get 43-hour speed ups. You know what I'm saying?
Plus.
Like
Yeah.
I feel like if you're going for gear, then obviously the crates of choice might be the best option. But if you're not and you have like, let's say you have $40 to spend, I probably wouldn't go in that if I'm just going for plasma and for trying to star up, get my plasma troops up. I probably wouldn't go anywhere near the crates of choice.
See, it also does depend on like if an event's active, because I generally stay away from getting any speed ups in packs at all because that's just something I can wait for. But like the last SVS was the first time I actually bought speed up packs because I was trying to get into the top 5 and I just needed straight speed up so I can rush everything from plasma 2 to plasma 5 in like a 5-minute period because I activated like 4 different construction buffs at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The Tyrant said, if you only want to spend a little bit, I would always say wait for the skin event packs.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. If you're going to buy a pack with speed ups in it, it's going to be the skin events, even if it's the ones for the March skins. And I mean, even for that, like the top up event, like for these, eventually you're going to be able to get them the same skin in, the events where like, the Trish or whatever has the health packs. Yeah. I mean, you get them for like far less money, but those packs for those events usually have like speed ups and legendary fragments and sometimes even plasma now. So like for a new player or a new spender, that Hope Springs Eternal bundle, it comes with, for $5, it comes with the frame, which, I mean, for a smaller medium spender, the frame buff doesn't even really matter, but it's just a cool thing to have. Like people like to have, they don't just want to have the plain frame or HQ or whatever. Even the March skin, like more, that stuff is more like people like to have that stuff.
I have the point. I have tons of frames and I just prefer it without a frame.
Well,
my nun picture looks better without anything blocking it. Thank you.
But even for $5, you got.
Don't laugh at me, Delete.
I can't remember how much plasma is in it, but it also comes with a massive amount of speed ups. So it's usually, again, another good time where if you wait, you're going to get more. But just depends how impatient someone is and if they want to wait around or.
Yeah, because an Apex touch on it. I mean, the game gets it. where it's like some of these come out when there's not an event going on purpose. You know what I mean? To
Yeah.
make it so you don't actually rank up during an event, and you just kind of burn through stuff without actually using it effectively. It's kind of, and then the event comes around and you're like, I just used all of it. Let me just buy some stuff right now.
Let me just grab it a little
let me
bit
just
more.
let me go ahead and just tap into that credit card. Let me get my 16 digits out.
Christian said the flame frame is his favorite. It's mine too. If I'm going to use one, it's usually the flame frame. Eric B said, "Keep it simple. Spend on hero gear and badges, and get everything else from the game." I mean, I think we had all tend to agree on that. Like Jeremy said earlier, that was the kind of the main thought for a long time. But I think for players like me, the mid-level players that are going to be support players, because I'm never going to be a top spender. Never going to. Just won't. I know me. So I think my best bet is not to so much focus on gear and badges, but to get my plasma as high as I can so that I can join rallies.
Yeah, every state before mine and after mine all have the same lifespan. Maybe there's a couple out there, but for the most part, the beginning has a massive amount of players. Everybody's fighting all the time and struggling, and people are killing each other and merging alliances, and then everything kind of settles down. The spenders spend and people quit, and the casual players are going to end up quitting for the most part, but like some will stick around, like Mako and them. But
yeah,
it gets to a point where like our state now is it's pretty similar to you guys. We have a couple top alliances, and then we have our sister or farm alliances of those alliances, and then we have a couple alliances here or there that are like language specific that might have a rally leader or two. So the problem that we run into is like these players who are 2 or even 3-star now. We're at SVS Capital and we're like, hey, it's our job to do the middle this time. We need to have all 5-star in our rallies. And people are like, well, why am I even here? This is like pointless for me to even be here.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're looking at it and we're thinking that, a lot of states older than us have already started to do the same. If we want to keep people around and keep them interested and having fun and being able to participate in big events, like even Reservoir Raid or Reservoir League and all of those things, the only real way for them to legitimately do that is to start having 4 or 5-star plasma troops. Plus, people like to spend on plasma anyways. Like, it's cheap. It gets you the shiny, like 4 and 5-star HQs. Like, people like that stuff. And we used to kind of like we used to poke fun at people for like, oh, look at this guy. He's a 5-star and he only has like 120 million BP. But the game's different now. Like, if people want to participate and get in rallies and, be in a tower and things like that, they have to have those troops in there. And just, you have to accept the fact that some players are max players and other players are casual or medium spenders. And the best way for them to participate in the game, at least unless they just want to quit and go to a new state and restart, they could just do that continually. But if they want to stay like with their friends, it's going to be the same way in
every state, though. It's the same way in every state. Like, it's the way the game's built.
Yeah, so they just need to. We've kind of, and like I said, this has only been discussion over the past like day or two. We are kind of just going to direct everyone to start doing that, and I think everyone will be fine with that because I just used to drill it in everyone's head. Like, if you're going to spend money, you need to spend it on gear, but I think people will enjoy it more, like having the 5-star HQ and being able to actually do something.
I think too, if you're like, okay, so there's going to be differences. If you're an alliance leader, how do you direct like, we have a lot of people where it's like, okay, joining, what do we spend on? What do we spend on? Like, obviously now as a game changing, the game has changed enough that we need to have our spending members and our support. You gotta have your lead members and your support. That's just the way it's always got to be. Like, and this is on any kind of game that you play. You're gonna have to have your superstars and your support roles. And I think if everybody goes in with an expectation of what they're gonna play as and how they're going to get enjoyment out of the game, with that expectation that I am not going to be a superstar, you can still have fun, but you're gonna have to push for the plasma. But if you actually see, that was the problem with Law in 125. I was so focused on everything, trying to get my gear up, trying to do this, that if I would have only focused on plasma, I'd be 5-star and I'd be in a really good support position, but I wasn't. It was just like spread out too much. So you have to hyper focus in the area that you are going to be able to have fun in. And I think that as alliance leaders, we need to all say, okay, pick out your superstar players. Like, good thing is with RSG and 359, we have about 5 to 7 superstars that could possibly be heavy gear, could be leaders. But, you know, obviously we have Apex. We've got a couple of the new guys. Nero's probably going to have really good gear. Maz, you know, those types. So we've got enough people that are going to have good gear. Even if Apex decides, hey, I'm going to bail and join this one, or Maz decides she's going to bail, which neither one of them will because they love Finn too much. But you know what I'm saying. If somebody decides to bail, we still have a couple of gear people. I can still tell everybody else, focus on plasma. Focus on your plasma. That's what you need to be rushing towards. And then the rest of it will fall in when you're able to join rallies and make points off of rallies with your superstar guys. So I think it was good advice.
I mean, I would say right now I've seen more like 5-star bases that have some of the worst stats I have ever seen. Like, you know, I was always, in the beginning, it was like raise up everything, you know, as far as you could until you're, you know, whatever. But, you know, that level or that, you know, stance right now, like, puts you at such a disadvantage. You know what I mean? Like, if you have 5-star troops or 5-star plasma troops, then you can start joining things and you can start playing again. You know, like, if you're not rally lead, you don't need, you know, the gear. You don't need a lot of that stuff unless you're going to be like the secondary player who's like, you know, once we get into it, you know, get into a building and then we switch and point you as leader, you know, just to use your heroes, then there maybe, you could kind of get something. But for the most part, once you get to the point where it's like you just want to get to the point where you can join rallies again, and that's pure plasma. That's
and plus, honestly, it's coming from somebody that's in a state where I am absolutely useless in that state. You lose your interest in playing the game when you can't participate in all of the events. I don't care how much anybody says, oh, but I'm there for a cheerleader and I want to press buttons. It's boring as hell. So it really is. Like I can only crack so many jokes and keep everybody's spirits up for so long before I'm like, okay, F this, I got to get out and go do something fun. So you need to, if you're going to continue playing this game, it needs to be focused into something you can actually play an event. And you can still, even if you don't have good gear, if you have a good player like one of these guys in your alliance and you have 5 stars or even 3-star plasmas, you can join the bunkers, you can reinforce, you can participate in capitals, you are pretty effective in res raid. So that's where everybody's focus should be if you're not a high spenders. And if you are a high spender, ask these guys for info later about how to spend your money on gear if you really want to. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Jeremy.
That was kind of my thing too. When we first started discussing it, I was just like, absolutely not. I don't even know. That's just foreign to me. But then when we started really talking it out, it made a lot of sense. But so for me right now, it's just trying to figure out what is the threshold of, okay, if someone comes to us and says, hey, I'm spending this amount of money. Do you think I should do this plasma thing? Or do you think I should start getting gear? Or because so for my alliance, we were the, like, whatever the alliance is in your state that you says has all of the 5 stars in it and everything. That was our alliance for like the whole life of the state. We had 4 guys who they bought everything every single day, all 4 of them. And
yeah,
I took that as that I just wanted to do whatever I could to help protect their investment in the game. And I still, none of them even play anymore, which is a funny thing to think about it. Well, one still does, but anyway, I still look at that as something that I want to do for our members. Like, I don't want them to end up like that, where they're like, oh, hey, I just spent 6 months on this account and now here I am. Like, I don't even feel like I can join a rally at Capitol because you guys, the only way we can knock someone out of this tower is if we have 4 or 5 stars in the rally. Like, I don't want it to end up that way, but I also don't want to have someone have a crutch by not spending on gear when they should. So like, that's been our discussion is, and like, I've reached out to some people from older states, and like Cobbs, he's been like giving me advice just on like, hey, if someone is spending this amount of money, but it's a weird, you know, that's kind of been my focus, is trying to figure out, hey, if someone's spending $50 a month, well, that's easy. You should just spend it on the plasma lab and that's it. And just get plasma up as quickly as possible. But if someone's spending like $150 to $250, like, that's where it kind of gets to the point where you're like, you might want to actually like focus a little bit more on gear, because you start entering that territory of, you're probably going to be able to you might be able to rally at some point.
Yeah. If you keep that up consistently, you can kind of, you know, at that level of spend, you can kind of get there. You know what I mean? It'll take you some time, but if you're spending like 150 to 250, you know, you can catch up, you know, because it'll be, you know, you can catch up there. You know, I mean, you buy the right packs, you know, at that point, you're that much further behind. I mean, you won't be the strongest player in the state, you know, because that's going to come with, you know, overall skins and so on and so forth, depending on this overall spend level. But on that level, you could sneak in, you know, to like getting that 9th, 8th spot, 10th, 8th spot for that permanent skin. And, you know, as I've seen in the game, you know, you can just see how it's just like, some people go all the way up and they max out, and then they're just like, it's not that fun anymore. You know, because one of our top players left, you know, and now it's like a ghost account. You know, it's like, wow.
So the one thing that I want to make sure that we're doing in 359, because I'm learning from mistakes in a previous state. That's what I'm doing too, is the fact that I think, Jeremy, you almost said it, and I thought that's what you were going with earlier, was like, I don't want to cripple our spenders. So like, you have Apex, you have Moz, you have these big players that want to be at a higher level, but because everybody is so diversely focused, we don't have the plasma troops to funnel into them. They're like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to start these rallies, but I don't have the troops to back me. And then that causes them to want to leave, and then we're worse off. So I think if I can get everybody in our alliance to really say what your role is and be committed to that role and be happy with that role, and then hyper-focus into plasma troops instead of trying to get their gear and trying to spend in this and that. If we can get the majority of them focused on getting the plasma as fast as possible, then we actually benefit more, and our spenders benefit more, because we're helping them to get to that gameplay they want to play at. So,
well, that's the difficult job of an alliance leader, is getting everyone to admit, like,
buy in.
Hey, you're
not
sorry to tell you, but you know, you're a 2-star who has, you show up to one event every couple weeks, like, but hey, we do still need you to come to Capitol because we need somebody to hit heals. Well, why should I do that? And then, you know, that's kind of our job, is to get people to buy in. And that's kind of the thing that I'm trying to figure out, is to say, like, I don't want to just go into my alliance and reverse everything that I've ever said and say, forget it, just spend all your money on plasma. Because they're going to say, like, what?
Well, I mean, I think the way to get them to buy in is say, look, do you want to spend, you know, your $500 on gear that might get you into a few rallies here or there, or do you spend your money on plasma that'll get you to 5-star and get you in every single rally because you have the top spenders? So, like, give them the options. I think once you lay the options out of what your gameplay could be and what it's not, what it's lacking now and what it could be. I mean, unless you're an idiot, I think you can kind of like see it laid out like that. And I mean, even yeah, I mean, well, I didn't see it in a long time. I didn't see it in 125 for a long time until it started happening where all we were with button pushers. But I see it now, and I think that if it's laid out appropriately about how much you miss out when you can't be in a capital rally. You miss out on all those points and those rewards. Like if you want to make your account stronger, you need to do this, and you need to hyper focus in one level, so one area. I don't know.
That's the other thing too. Like for Law, from what I can tell, like you have Delete, who's a max player, and then you have like one other person you said that's pretty close, and then you just feel so far behind of that other alliance because they have they have a whole bunch of max players. But I bet that if you guys at the start of the plasma and everything, when we got to like 5 stars, I bet that if all those people who spent some money on gear and things like that, if they just would have went to 5 stars, and then so if you end up having 10, 15, 20 people who are all 5 stars with 5-star plasma in your alliance, even if they don't have the greatest stats, it doesn't matter because they joined Delete's rally and their troops have his stats and they're 5-star. So it's basically like having Delete as everyone in that rally.
Oh yeah.
At that point. Yeah.
Definitely.
As opposed to you have people joining that are 2-star who maybe they have, even if they have max orange gear, let's say, that's all they bought. They spent all their money on orange gear, but they're only 2-star. They join that rally and it doesn't, they're less than the one person
first to get
who's
booted.
a 5-star. Yeah.
Somebody said if you can get them to focus more on research, plasma troops won't matter too much. I don't think that's true.
No, because so it used to be that way, where the stats used to matter a lot more for people that were joining, but the issue became when plasma benefits from having plasma troops started overtaking the level of research percentage buffs that you would get
as a joiner.
As a joiner. So now the plasma benefits really, kind of just wipe that right out, because then it's like, higher level of plasma troops means more like buff damage, happening with the top player stats. And that's the only reason why that's the case is because, the battle mechanics have changed, tremendously. I mean, that's just it, so you hit, I broke it out. I feel like we were having like an SVS chat where like everyone in the state was like, we got more 5 stars than you do, so we're better than you. And I'm like, well, here's how that works.
Yeah.
It's like
there's also there's so much untested, like T11s. Nobody has any real idea at this point what T11s are doing. Not even the guys who are all doing a massive amount of testing in PTR. They still don't know. And like the other thing about the game, you can't say anything definitive about this game ever, I don't think, because the testing that's been done, like the abilities that are on the plasma troops and the abilities like T9s, like how they have different abilities than T10s, like for the most part, it's basically been proven that none of that stuff is even real. So to try to say like, hey, if you just do this, then that means you don't need to do this. Like, and the other problem with the game, and I mean, this is so off track, but by the time people get done testing things in a test environment like PTR or the battle simulator, it ends up changing. It changes like a week later anyways. So
also
that's why we say our stream is so different.
Yeah. I mean, the PTR is also based off of a different battle mechanic also, or it could be, so like you could test it that way, but it could not actually be the same in actuality.
Well, like the PTR, the heroes. Remember when they released the heroes and the percentages of the stats on the heroes were so different than what they released. So there's no way to really test that stuff out. Like,
It was a weird
Yeah, here's
rollback. It was like they were supposed to be stronger, and then they made them the same, and then it was just like, what are you doing? And I don't know. It was a weird thing.
real quick, code 2 is state 125, guys. Use your code really
Whoa.
quick. State 125 is gift code 2. Okay, go ahead, Jeremy. What were you saying?
I just know, like, I a lot of my people that I speak to are in PTR. Like, they do a lot of testing, and I'm nobody, but I talk to a lot of people of the biggest alliance leaders, like in the old states, some of the new states, and for the most part, and any of the experience that I have with, like, in our res raid, from the last res raid we had, we faced state 35, and we're state 130.
Yeah.
So we had to face like the guys from 35, and so from all my experience, what I know is it seems to me, and I am going to start turning this way, is that if you're not spending to the point where you almost have max gear, you probably should just go to getting 5-star plasma as quickly as possible, because that's the best way to, unless you're going to be a rally leader like in a small alliance, which is fine. But if you're in alliance with someone else who maybe a couple people, your state's old enough to where you have, like, if I started spending in 359, I would only buy plasma.
Yeah.
And like maybe a couple of the other things that we talked about that will help get my HQ and my research to that point where I can speed up to get to star 5.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at too. I think that's exactly what that's all I've spent so far, is really only things for plasma. And then I feel like for some of the skins, like I did get the New Hope skin or whatever it was. So I think that's kind of what I'm going for, is just going straight for plasma and trying to get my HQ up so I can be a good support player. And honestly, I have a lot of fun as a support player, and I have a lot of fun as a trap player. Like, that's the most fun I have in any SVS or anything that we do, is when I get one of my boys to come send a troop to me and I look a little bit weaker. It's just fun for me to like jump around and hop around and do that stuff. So I think just knowing your role and going with it like that, I think I'm going to take the advice you guys had and just go straight to using plasma only.
Oh, nothing is better than like me setting a rally and seeing like my top stars get in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when they're the first ones in, and you're just like, oh, nice. I don't even have to watch this one.
Yeah.
I don't even have to, like, like I don't have to kick anyone out and be like, hey, why'd you send me back? Like all that bullshit. I use speed ups to meek it, and I was just like, oh, you're kind of throwing in like T9s in there, like. And we're so not at T9 anymore.
Yeah,
so
once you're at that level, when somebody comes up and says, well, everybody should get a chance to play. No, that's not how games work. Everybody doesn't get to play. Some people have to sit the bench, and some people bring the towels, and some people do this or do that. So, I mean, it's just like any other sport. If, you got to practice and you got to play well, and sometimes you have to spend some money if you want to be a top player. So, you got to choose your role. Apex, what do you think about what we were talking about just now? To give you hope that I'm going to try to focus everybody to get plasma for you.
I mean, yeah, that would be nice. It's like we're doing okay right now, but like with the bunker, like 2 bunkers ago, we were able to take the bunker away from the enemy, and they were using full like plasma 1 and plasma 2 troops, and we were attacking with pretty much me, Nero, and then the rest was tier 9s. But we can't hold like that. So we played that big waiting game where it was like we would take it over, and then we'd let them take it back, and we'd run down the timer and then attack again, which was pretty fun at that mad dash at the end where we have like 5 different rallies hitting all within the space of like 2 seconds. But it'd be nice to have a bit more firepower in the back so I can kind of just kick the crap out of somebody and then watch them try and double rally me and fail. And be like, all right, you're done. Good night.
Yeah.
That's what actually...
Oh, go ahead.
That's what Law used to do to me. So when I was in wall, like it would be they would basically double rally me, and they're like their number one player at the time, QJ. I hope he's well, wherever he is, whatever he's doing, um, would double rally me, and then I'd be like, yeah, now I'm gonna hand you your ass, So I would go ahead and just like re-rally, and they would leave. They would just completely just like run away, not take the hit, and then there we go, another double rally coming back at me, and I'm like, these mother.
My idea, by the way.
Drive me crazy.
Mine and QJ. That's the one thing. I didn't have a lot of firepower, but I was good with strategy, and QJ was so much fun to do that with, like time it out. And I will never forget the one where we were hitting you, and we were so close. And finally, we were just like, forget this, man. We're all tired. We were arguing on VC with some other, who. And we gave up. And we said, all right, we're done for tonight. We'll try it again next SVS or next Capital. And then Delete came back and said, yeah, one more hit and I would have been out. Y'all had me. I would have been done. It was so disappointing.
I didn't have a full rally left. I had bought every pack possible to get speed ups, to get troops back into my base.
Yeah.
And I had zero. Yeah. It was literally a 24-hour barrage of everyone hitting my base. Actually, I went to go play golf for a little while, and then I came back.
Oh, it was like 8 hours straight too of us on VC timing every single rally, like setting timers and calling out times to how to double rally, triple rally him out. Like it was just that tough. And then it was one of those like crazy. we can't beat Delete, so let me just try to recruit him. That's how we do it. And I made him leader.
It was oh my god, so funny. So funny.
Yeah, Maz said that's just not my experience. I wonder what experience she's talking about. Whether it's Maz is such a fun person. I really wish I'd have watched. I think I was at work when Jeremy, Apex, and Maz were taking a bunker. Was it a bunker, Apex?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about before, where I was getting like double and triple rallied out because they tried one rally and it didn't work.
Yeah.
It's fun when everyone's talking about it. Because I remember even Nero being like, dude, 359 is fun, man.
It is.
We had like a crazy bunker. And I was just like, yeah. I was like, our bunkers now are either uncontested or actually, I don't know, what's it been? 345 days, and I've missed a facility and 3 bunkers over the last 2 weeks. And it's eating me up. But it's just like, I was like, I've been sleeping. I've been sleeping pretty well. My kids have been waking up. My daughter's been waking up in the middle of the night. So it hasn't been easy, and I've just been whatever. Life is just crazy right now. Work is busy, whatever's busy. Yeah. And I miss stuff, because it's like, I got to wake up at 6 a.m. to go ahead and like take a facility,
But it's just like it's not as much fun as it was like a constant battle. Like 359 right now is ripe for everybody's kind of mostly peaceful. There's some things here or there, but everybody kind of likes each other. Like there's some respect for all the big players, but there's this is where we're having fun because we just hit top 10 right now, I think. And
yeah, we're 7.
We're 7 now? Shut up. See, I didn't want to get that high. That's not...
Mine's about... Oh, no, we're at 10.
Oh, no.
I was about to say, no, we're 10. Higher. No, we don't want to go higher than 10 right now because the fun part is when the top 3 to 5 alliances are like uncontested on bunkers, and then one day we're just like, all right, it's time. And then we start real facilities and we start pouncing on some of those and having some really good fights. That is when it's fun. And then when we actually get to a point where we're hitting that capital, that's what I can't wait, which might not be too long from now. Like, who knows?
I mean, it's literally the best part of the game was like when everyone was in the 30s. A star wasn't even a thing.
Yeah.
I feel like that was when everyone mattered. You know what I mean? And the game was literally, all right, where's your research at? Where's this at? Where's that? Because those minute differences made a tremendous difference in everything. And at that point, to like, you look back on it and spend level to get to 30 is like, meh. you know, and then to like get to plasma, and you're like, either I've been playing a long time or I'm spending a lot of money,
Mm,
you know. So then it's just, you know, like, but 30 was when it was like, okay,
yeah.
all right, you know, it's just nonstop. Everyone's hitting each other with pillows.
Wet noodle battles.
Yeah, it's just
Maz
boom.
Maz said, I have 4-star, but it isn't enough. I don't feel useful and feel like I wouldn't be able to motivate people to push plasma. See, I don't agree with that. I think, Maz, you're very useful. I mean, you helped Apex.
Maz, you were like the entire reason we took that bunker.
Yeah,
because
you
if
were
you didn't tank that first rally, we would not have made that.
Yeah, you were the cincher, so.
If you're fishing for compliments, you got them.
She knows she's awesome. I don't know anyone that dislikes Maz. Like,
I've been playing, and I've like got so much respect for Maz.
oh my gosh, she's
359.
She's honestly the best person I know. Like, one
If someone
of the best
dislikes
people I know.
Maz, just send me their coordinates right now.
There was one person in state chat one time that I think misunderstood Maz. I'd never seen her get angry, and somebody said like a really nasty word, and Maz like, well, that's just rude. You just need to shut up. And I've never seen Maz ever say anything like that. And one girl came back out and said something about that person's rude or something like that. And I was like, you shut your mouth. Maz is never rude to anyone. I mean, never. So if she was rude to you or told you to shut your mouth, it had to have been a very, very good reason, because Maz is so sweet to everybody. But Leo said, blame Dr. Yamakaze for inventing plasma. Yeah, we do. We blame him hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So any other final tips, guys, on anything that like you think that is underrated as far as some of the packs or any of the events that we need to spend on?
I will say, I think the biggest thing is, no matter what you spend on, make sure you're spending to have fun. You know, don't spend in this game if you feel like it's a job. You know what I mean? I think that's like the biggest thing, because a lot of people are like, well, I gotta keep spending because I've been playing for so damn long, and it's just like, what are you doing? You know, it's like don't have, you know, like, play to have fun. You know what I mean? If it's an addiction, that's a different story. You know, make sure you're just like, you're checking your own oil there and making sure that you're kind of doing it for the right reasons. You know, I think the biggest thing is, you know, spend on plasma is probably like the biggest thing, the like biggest revelation that we've had on the show.
Were you about to say
no,
revelation?
I'm thinking, we watched The Good Dinosaur like two nights ago.
Such a cute movie.
Relevation.
Yeah, such a cute movie.
I mean, it gets hated on a lot, but it's not that bad.
I thought it was
it's
cute.
It's really not that bad.
But yeah, we're old parents though, that we think everything's cute. The Croods 2 is adorable, by the way.
You just don't get it yet. In a couple years, you'll get it.
You'll get it.
So a revelation, yeah. So you just like, you know, just going on plasma to kind of making sure that you join rallies, so this way you can continually play and feel like you're part of the team again. It's probably the thing that makes sense, and it's, you know, for now, maybe not after this stream. They'll probably change the pricing on all
exactly.
the plasma.
They'll make the stream completely irrelevant. And just like they've done every time we have something good come out, then they change it up, and like we're like completely having to go back.
You know, don't concentrate. If you're not a rally leader, don't concentrate. Don't concentrate on gear.
I think for the majority of the players and like anyone in my alliance that talks to me about spending or anything, I just tell them like, you have to have a budget. That's like the most important thing. Just like any hobby, like you can't, I mean, it's super easy. We're all on our cell phones.
Mm-hmm.
You hit a button and you don't even see, it's not like you're handing cash over. So I just say, like, you know, if I mean, actually, just as one quick example, I had someone who had messaged me that they were like, you know, I think I'm going to quit. I can't stop spending, and I just think it's better for me. And I say, yeah. And I said to him, like, but it was like one of my friends. Like, I mean, we all make friends in this game. And, you know, I just said, hey, man, I totally understand it if you do, but I just, if I were you, if you want to spend and you want to keep playing, then maybe, you know, like, go out and buy iTunes cards for, like, just have whatever your budget
that's on that card. So
yeah,
you can't go over it.
Get a card,
you know?
Don't go over it, and that's all you spend on. And, like, I mean, at the end of the day, for the most part, a lot of people are adults, so they have to make their own decisions. But that's for the majority of us. We need to stay on a budget and not go. I've seen people basically lose their minds and like quit because they spent way more than they should have. So that's like one of my biggest recommendations to anyone that's going to start spending, because it can get troubling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect tip too. Is use your gift cards, buy your gift cards, set your budget for the month, and also my other big strong tip is set your expectations realistically. There's nothing worse than going into the game, spending a ton of money, and realizing you still are not going to be the top guy. You're still kind of, or spending not wisely and focusing in the wrong area and still being irrelevant in your state because you didn't spend it on the right things or you didn't focus in the right area. So hopefully this helps some people with that. I know it helped me.
Another one insider tip too that I've noticed in the time that I've played, if you just make your profile picture like a very attractive woman and you just wait like 6 months, one of the VIP 12s will just quit the game and they'll just give you their account anyway. So if you want to wait 6 months, just pretend you're a very attractive female and they'll probably just gift you their VIP 12 when they get bored and quit.
I don't know if my nun pick is not working for me, but I haven't gotten any VIP 12 accounts.
Well,
we don't
yeah,
have
so
very
we're
many
gonna
of the
take
same
one from
359
now.
doesn't seem to have huge spenders in it. Like if, like at the age of my state, by the time it was the same age as 359, like we had, my state has a whole bunch of spenders in it.
Well,
so.
I'm talking about on 125 either. Like all I get is get zero. I get hit, like get rallied troops, 69 rallies on me.
You've had your pick of accounts. You had like a stable of accounts that were at your like little, well, not really a stable, but there's a fair share of accounts. Venom here had a spy account in Wall when she was in Law.
I did.
So, hey.
Yeah, what were you saying, Apex? Let's not talk about the spy thing.
I was gonna say, like, your guys' tips are gonna make mine sound kind of lame, but it's just if you're like, no matter if you're spending a lot or a little, hoard everything that you can for state versus state. That's what I did, and both times like 2 of the 3 state versus states that I was in 359, I was able to take top 10 just because every bit of plasma that I bought, I would just save every speed up, even for like some of the other events I probably should have spent or used a little bit of those on.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. And I was able to take spot 3 in this last one, and I think I was like 8 in the one before that, just going through, and that helped tremendously because then later on, all the stuff that I got from those rewards was stuff that I didn't have to buy.
Yeah.
I would always, like in 125, I'd always look at like where the event was, so where I could find a value in an event, because there were certain events that people didn't do that first place was like 50,000 caps. And I'd be like, all right, I'm going to bang this out right now, So then I would just get a free 50,000 caps for, doing stuff that I was going to do anyway. Or, an SBS, or even like the watering can event, I would like keep my people who were just watching me on leaderboards. So I would keep my total really low, so they'd be like, oh, he's not even doing anything. He's not even paying attention this time. I'm not even going to try that hard. And then on the last day, when you can't buy anymore, I'm showing my true number and being like, oops, sneaking into the top 10 that way. Pay attention to like the leaderboards, because there are certain people you're like, what are the chances that he's going to go ahead and like, this account's going to go ahead. I keep using he when there are a lot of females that play this game.
Yeah. How rude.
Yeah, it's awful. It's about to get me too'd on this thing.
Right.
So like,
all right.
What are the chances that this top player is going to go ahead and go after another event, right after he just went after this event, so then it'd be like, all right, well, he's going crazy on this one. I'll go crazy on the next one, You know what I mean? So play it smart. Use the advantages that you can get.
Yeah.
It's a very
I
good
like
call, Apex.
I like Apex. Yeah, double what we like to call double dipping. Make sure that everything that you spend, you're spending it and it's doing double the work for you. So like even if it comes to buying a pack, like if you're in Throwdown and you can buy a pack and get Throwdown points for it, or just anything that you can get more than what you're just getting with those points, or using it for a different way, multiple ways. I think that's really the best thing to do. Edgar Q just joined. He joined a little late, man. Sorry, we're about to wrap it up. It's State 20. And then Christian Cruz, oh my gosh, he said in 324 we have 21 5-stars and 11 4-stars in 324.
That's crazy.
21 5-stars, that's a lot, isn't it? I'm trying to think.
I feel like
actually on 359, I think we have like 17 or 18 at this point.
Really? That many?
Did you guys? This is probably for another show, but I assume that some people have heard about how the Reservoir League is going to turn to like a money tournament. So if you want to see some crazy spending, go look at like 607. I think like the 607 to 617. I think is like going to be the beta test server for the Reservoir League like money event, and the spending there is the most crazy thing ever.
Well, the rewards are pretty ridiculous.
Yeah,
I mean, it's real cash money rewards. So
looks like I'm joining Rod because they've got a millionaire.
yeah, it's pretty intense. It's going to be interesting. So we'll see.
That's pretty crazy.
We're going to have we might even do our next stream to kind of talk about that a bit, because then I'll have a little bit more information. I've got special invitations and things like that I need to check out, but I'm kind of hesitant about it. So we'll talk about it next stream. How about that? You guys are welcome to
yeah,
join
that'll
if
be
you'd
good.
like. All right. Anything else?
No,
It's
I think you're
almost
awesome.
11. It's almost 11. I was going to wrap this up at like 10:30 at the latest. And here I am, you guys.
Good luck.
We talk too much. It's a good convo, though. I needed it. I'm really excited about my hyper focus now. It'll be good.
You get new direction. That's always exciting.
Until I change my mind tomorrow. That's how that goes. You know how that goes with me. Thank you to, of course, Delete Finn, who is gone. Sleepyhead, he's gone. Oh, yes. Thank you to Zombie Coffee for sponsoring us. You guys check them out on Facebook. We're hoping to try to get you guys a link for a discount code pretty soon. We're working on that, and support the people who support the stream. We would appreciate you guys checking them out. It's really good coffee, by the way, if you like it. Thank you to Delete, Finn, special guest Apex, and Jeremy. Thank you guys for joining. It was a pleasure. You were very informative and helpful. Oh, last code. Sorry. The last code is the Burker.
Got ya. How do you spell that?
Burker. The Burker. Welcome to the Burker. Do you know what it reminds me of? Of the backpack, the Goosebumps chick. Remember the Goosebumps chick? The meme? She says, I like to read my Goosebumps in my Burk Perk. Do you remember her? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Apex, because you're young. You and Jeremy both are young. Me and Delete are old. We know what I'm talking about. She's the one that has the goosebumps, and she's got the retainers on, and she goes, Burk Perk Goosebumps. Anyway, I'll show it to you later.
Yeah, I went from being the kid that was causing trouble to being the old man that's like, shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, you know what I used to do?
That's not right.
Day?
Eventually, you're gonna see the error in your ways.
Get off of my lawn.
Well, in 6 months, Apex and I will be like this. I'm already old too. This game, one day in State of Survival is like 6 months. So I'm already 69 years old.
Oh my gosh. I'll be really old in like a week and a half. My birthday's in a week and a half or so. I'll be old. You guys have no idea. I'm not even gonna tell anybody how old I am anymore. I'm gonna stick at like 30 something. Just stay there.
Oh, what's it like? What's it like turning 27? I can't even remember it.
It's so hard. It's like so hard. I can't even tell you. Okay, guys. Thanks for joining. We appreciate all of your support. We might be in after chat. I don't even know. It depends on how tired everybody is, but we appreciate all of you. We love you and hope you have an excellent night. We'll see you next Friday. All right. Bye.
Thanks, y'all.